Do I need to move this out the way? Okay, I can hold it. Okay.
Yeah.
In case I
If you need
think of something.
Take notes as we go, that's fine. Okay, so today's date is January 20th, 2023. This is Kelly Zakovic representing the City of Savannah Municipal Archives, and I am interviewing Arthur May Branch Battiste for the Savannah Community Memory Project. We're conducting this interview at the Crusader Club Community Center. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So can you tell us your full name, please?
My full name is Arthur May Branch Battiste.
Alrighty, and what neighborhood are you here to tell us about today?
I'm here to tell you about the Coffee Bluff community.
And what would you consider to be the boundaries of Coffee Bluff geographically?
The foundering?
The boundaries?
Boundaries?
Yeah, any streets or...
Well, it used to be White Bluff, but they divided up into two different parts. White Bluff Road used to start at Durant Avenue and Bow Street. That's where it was, until all the way down to the end. So a few years ago, they divided up. Half was White Bluff and half was Coffee Bluff.
Which half is which?
Coffee Bluff begins Old Mill, the Old Mill subdivision. That's where the Coffee Bluff, and the sign is up there telling you that's where it begins.
And has that kind of always been the starting point?
No, it hadn't always been, but that's when they divided it up a few years ago, and that's where the point starts.
Alrighty. And when were you born?
I was born February the 22nd, 1945.
Alright. And where were you born?
I was born in the White Bluff community. I was born in the hospital, which was, Georgia Infirmary Hospital.
Alright. And what were your parents' names?
My mother's name was Frances Mack Branch. My father's name was Arthur Branch Jr.
Alrighty. And so where did you grow up?
I grew up in the White Bluff community.
Any particular street or area of the...
Well, the main highway was where I was raised in for a long time, yeah. Where I'm living at now, that's where I was raised. I'm living in the old house.
Are you living in the same house
Yeah.
you were
Raised up in, huh?
Very nice. And how long has that house been in your family?
My dad built that house in 1950. I think it was 1950.
Very nice. And has the land kind of been in your family since then?
Yeah,
as well?
since then.
Okay. And where did you go to school?
Haven Home on Montgomery Crossroad.
Okay.
Haven Home was from 1st to 12th grade at the time. And then it was reduced later on that once we went into the 9th grade, Saul C. Johnson School was built, and that's where we went to junior high and high school.
Did most of the kids out here go to the same school?
Yes, same school.
And have you lived here your whole life?
My whole life.
Very nice. So who were some of the important leaders in the neighborhood that we should know about?
Some of the important leaders in the White Bluff, Coffee Bluff community were Robert Williams.
And why is he important?
He was one of the main deacon in my church, which is the historical Nicholson Bar Baptist Church. Was raised up under him in the church, along with David Mack Sr. He was very good leader in the church, chairman of deacons, and also a great leader in the church, along with Herbert Battiste.
And Herbert Battiste through the church?
Oh yeah, he was a member of Nicholson Bar Baptist Church as well.
Okay, cool. Anything that they really did for the community or to know about?
Well, Herbert Battiste was very influential in getting the Crusaders Community Center together so the city could have access to it. And that's why it's the Crusaders is where it is today because of him. He was very influential because he was president of the Crusaders Association.
Okay. So people who lived out here in White Bluff and Coffee Bluff, what did they do for work?
They were fishermen. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what they did. They would go in the river and catch fish and crabs, and their wives would take it in town and sell it. And that's how they made a living.
Okay.
They planted their own gardens. That's right, and we had fresh fruits and vegetables.
Sounds awesome.
And that is gone today, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they'd go down into Savannah to sell?
Yeah, they went in town in Savannah to sell their seafood. Because that's the only way the people in town would get fresh seafood is when they went in the river and catch it, and they had certain days that they would go and sell. Mm-hmm.
Did they sell at City Market or?
No, they would go. I would guess in the community, in town and different communities, and say crab and shrimp for sale. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you talked about Nicholson Borough. Any other churches other than Nicholson Borough in the community that were important, or?
Well, we had several churches out here, but that's the church that I was raised up in.
Mm-hmm.
I joined that church when I was 9 years old, and I'm still a member of that church.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about its significance in the community?
Nicholson Borough is an historical church, and when Pastor Matthew Southall Brown came along, he was our pastor for 14 years, and he and W.W. Law, they put us on the historical markers, and that's where we are today because of them. Matthew Southall Brown and W.W. Law. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very nice. And were there any businesses out here that people frequented?
They had small stores, and we had several little stores you can go and purchase things from, and especially food more so than anything. You had to go to town in order to buy clothing and things like that, but otherwise you'd have to, we had little stores. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember any names of any of the stores?
One of the stores were further down by Rose Dew was Smith's store. And further down, going north, was Cole's store. Those were the two stores. Now, my grandfather, Arthur Branch Sr., he had a confectionery store as well. So you can go and buy things with. Mm.
Was that out here?
Yeah, it was out there.
What was that called?
Branch Confectionery. Mm-hmm.
Nice. What years did he operate that?
Oh, I don't know. I can't go with the years, but I know we were children. It was in the later 50s. Mm-hmm.
So what did children out here do growing up children growing up out here do for fun?
Well, the only thing we did for fun was to play together.
Mm-hmm.
You would go from one house to the next house and play outside. We made our own fun. There were no recreation places for us to go.
Mm.
So we made our own fun together. Mm-hmm.
Did the Crusader Club and the playground come later?
Oh yeah, that came way later. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. So your family, where did your family come, when did they come here and where did they come here from?
Well, I think our family, the Branch family, came from one of those islands as well. And that's where they made their stop here in White Bluff.
Alright.
And that's where we all originated from.
Okay.
Rather said Catherine Island or Archibald or whatever. Yeah.
Were your parents born out there, or how many generations?
My parents were
White
born
Bluff?
here
Yeah.
in the White Bluff area. Yeah.
Okay.
My mother and father.
What are some names of the other surrounding neighborhoods around here?
The other surrounding neighborhoods, I would say Sandfly, Pinpoint, Tatumville.
Did you guys interact with each other?
We
or-
did, yeah. We went to school together and we interact with one another.
Do you have a favorite memory of the White Bluff, Coffee Bluff area out here?
All of my memories are great concerning White Bluff. I've traveled different places and I want to come back home.
Anything stick out in particular? Any favorite? Or favorite
Well, we
thing?
have always been a community where we would help one another. It's always been like that. And I guess that's why I continue to stay here, because I love it.
Very nice. How has White Bluff changed throughout your life?
Well, the older members are gone now, especially with my mother's generation. All of them are gone. They were more loyal to one another than it is today. And we're not as close as it used to be. I don't know, because of, I don't know, I don't know. They're not reliable and dependable on one another as it used to be.
I imagine it's grown just so much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
How many people lived out here when you were growing up, would you say?
Well, it was pretty good. A large amount of people lived out here, and you could walk from one place to the other, and that's what we did. We even walked to church. Yeah, we didn't have transportation. Everybody didn't have a car, and we would walk to church. Even from down here to Nicholson Borough, we would walk. And we had fun doing it.
50 years from now, what should we know about this area?
Ooh, 50 years from now, I don't know whether it will be known to where it is now or not. I doubt it.
Just preserving the memory of the community that
Right, yeah.
it was.
I don't think it'll be known as the favorite Coffee Bluff community. Yeah. Because you have a migration of so many different cultures of people coming until they wouldn't understand how we started. Yeah.
There's still a pretty good tight-knit
Oh,
group of
yeah,
you guys
yeah,
still here.
yeah. We're still a community that help one another, yeah.
Do you want to say anything about the Crusader Club and its importance to
Well, I'm not a member of the Crusaders Club,
Okay.
but it's been in effect for a long time. And they have done great work in getting this building together for seniors to come and socialize with one another. Yeah. And I do come some days and have lunch and do things with them as well.
Okay, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about White Bluff and Coffee Bluff?
Well, White Bluff and Coffee Bluff, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I love it here, and I'm going to die here, and that's how it is.
Okay, well, if you don't have anything else you'd like to share with us, we really thank you for participating and for coming out and for being here. It's a pleasure to talk to
You're
you.
quite welcome.
Well, thank you.